What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Hilo Bandit, and today I have a very interesting strategy to show you. I do apologize that I haven't been posting as much as I normally do. I don't know why that could have been. It's not like a new huge game came out or anything that's really fun and awesome and I highly recommend. But you guys aren't here for Overwatch. You guys are here to see some of the coolest Pokemon strategies and gimmicks of all time. As I'm sure you could tell from the title of the video, this strategy is all about the ability Normalize. Normalize makes all of your moves the normal type, and the only two Pokemon that have this ability are Skitty and Delcatty. Skitty and Delcatty by themselves are frankly terrible Pokemon, and should never be used by anyone ever. However, put with the right team, Delcatty can actually be useful. Normalize is frankly a terrible ability. If all of your moves are normal type, you cannot hit ghosts at all. So, you can actually use this to your advantage. What if you gave your opponent Normalize and then had a team of ghost Pokemon? Now this is a little bit difficult because Delcatty does not get Skill Swap, it does not get Entrainment, it doesn't even get Roleplay. So how can you actually get Normalize onto your opponents? There are three viable ways to do this that I've found. Strategy number 1, the Wolf Glick way. Strategy number 2, the semi-Wolf Glick way. And strategy number 3, my way. Wolf Glick's way works like this. You've got a Delcatty with Fake Out, and literally nothing else matters at all. You got Fake Out, Normalize, Focus Sash, or really anything else. It doesn't matter. Literally the only thing that matters is Fake Out, Normalize, and maximum speed. The big player in Wolf's strategy is Gengar. This Gengar is a bulky set with not a lot of HP. The reason for this is Pain Split. It shares the HP of user and target equally, so it's actually better to have higher defenses and lower HP, but maximum speed is essential. You've got Roleplay to copy Delcatty's ability, and then you have Skill Swap to give it to your opponents. You can then Roleplay onto the same opponent that you already Skill Swapped to get Normalize back. You simply repeat this until all of your opponents have Normalize and can no longer touch ghost types. Your last Pokemon is a ghost type with Substitute. I believe that Wolf used a Haunter, but here as an example I do have Mismagius, because Mismagius does have Nasty Plot, which is really nice for a strategy like this. Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam are good. You can also use something like Pain Split if you wanted. All that really matters is that you've got a ghost with Substitute. There's a link on the screen right now and in the description to Wolf Glick's 2013 Nugget Bridge Invitational, where he actually did use this strategy and won with it. He used it alongside his Perish Trap team, which I might go over another day, but definitely check out this video if you're at all interested in this strategy. Now for the second variation of this strat, we do have the semi-Wolf way to do it, which is with a Shadow Tag Gothitelle. But instead of just being there to be a tank with Shadow Tag, Gothitelle is actually the one in charge of role-playing and skill swapping. Protect is on there because it's Protect and you need it in doubles, period. And Side Shock is there just so you have an option for damage. You're paired up with this Delcatty with Fake Out, Protect, Thunder Wave, and Double Edge. You can swap this out for whatever other moves you want. You can use Charm, you can use Icy Wind, whatever works. Try stuff out if you want. There's several options that are fine. Max speed is the only thing again that matters. I'm using Double Edge, so just so I can do a little bit of damage, I do have maximum attack. You don't really need to be tanky because you only need to survive 1 or 2 turns. You've got this Gothitelle, and turn 1 it uses Roleplay on the Delcatty, turn 2 it uses Skill Swap to give it to an opponent, then Roleplay on the opponent, then Skill Swap to the other opponent. You kind of get the idea. I don't actually use Gengar with this strategy. Instead, I use the Mismagius with Nasty Plot, since setting up is awesome if they can't touch you. And also an Aegislash. I really like using this Aegislash. Lumberry prevents burns and paralysis and sleep. He's got Swords Dance set up. Obviously, King Shield is great. Just in general, it's like a better Protect. It doesn't block status, but that's what Lum is for. And then Shadow Sneak, Sacred Sword work great. If you wanted to use Iron Head or Gyro Ball instead, you could do that. And lastly, here's my way to do it. This way is the easiest to pull off. It's not the most effective since you don't have Shadow Tag, but it works far better, especially at lower elos, because oftentimes opponents have no idea what this strategy is anyway, and this is by far the easiest way to pull it off. You've got your Audino with Skill Swap, Entrainment, Wish, and Protect, and you've got your Delcatty with Fake Out and whatever else you want. Delcatty uses Fake Out, Audino uses Skill Swap. Now your Delcatty has Healer, and your Audino has Normalize. And what's nice about this strategy compared to the other ones is the fact that Audino is much, much tankier than Gothitelle, and especially Gengar. I do think that it was great the way Wolf did, the way he pioneered this strat, but unfortunately Gengar isn't really the best person to do this with, considering how frail it is. I do think that Audino is fantastic for this because she's so bulky, and you do have entrainment, so you don't have to spend 2 turns giving your opponent Normalize and then taking it back. You can just entrainment as much as you want. So with this strategy, you've got your Delcatty, you Skill Swap, you entrain your opponents, and when your Delcatty goes down, you can kill yourself with Double Edge, Recoil if you want, if you hang on with 1 HP by Focus Sash. And then you can bring in your Aegislash, Swords Dance Up, Shadow Sneak, Sacred Short, King's Shield, you know the drill. Just continue using entrainment on things. Now your opponents can switch out, but a lot of them don't actually catch on to this. They're like, why is he skill swapping around? I don't know what's going on. And it seems dumb, but did you know what Normalize did before you came to this video? Most people don't. Alongside Aegislash, you can also use Magius, I don't know. Sub, Nasty Plot, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam works really well. You can use a Gengar. Substitute is fine. You can't actually set up because you don't have access to Calm Mind or Nasty Plot. But Substitute is really nice, and I definitely think that this is a viable set to use. Other than that, you could try something like a Cofagrigus with Calm Mind if you wanted to. I wouldn't personally recommend that, but it's definitely on the table. And lastly, I would recommend trying out Amoonguss, not because you're immune to normal moves or even take less damage from them, but it is really, really nice to go with Audino, since once your Audino goes down and you have 1 setup Ghost Pokemon, it is really nice to have redirection on the team. So if you've got like a +4 Aegislash and you don't have any way to continue normalizing your opponents, you can have an Amoonguss Rage Powder up and let your Aegislash or your Nasty Plot and Mismagius clean up for you. Spore, Protect, Giga Drain, fairly standard. You can run specially defensive, you can run mixed, you can run physically defensive. Whatever you want, it's up to you. Amoonguss is definitely a good Pokemon to use with this, and I would recommend it. Alright, that's enough yammering for now. I know you guys really want to see this in action, so here are some example battles. Most of them are with my Audino set, and I think I do have one with Gothitelle. Enjoy! it's time to talk viability. This strat has a medium setup, especially depending on which one you use. The ones that require you to roleplay, skill swap, are probably harder to set up, whereas just the skill swap, entrainment is much easier. So average medium setup, it can definitely be shut down if your opponent really knows what they're doing. Some taunts, follow me's, fake outs can disrupt this strategy, and don't get me wrong, you can definitely play around those things, but this is definitely one of the more fragile setups. Another thing to take into account is the fact that U-turn and Volt Switch can actually pose a problem, especially if you are using the Shadow Tag mechanic, since those moves do actually break Shadow Tag. Lastly, the potential is medium to high, since if you pull it off correctly, you will have essentially an invincible Pokemon that can set up and sweep. And that's a very, very powerful thing to have on your team. The last question is it viable? And this is a tricky question because we've seen that it has been used viably competitively. We've seen that in the past this strategy has worked. However, with today's new additions, this isn't 2013 anymore, and I don't think that the strategy is as viable as it was. Even with the addition of things like Audino that do improve the strategy, I don't think that this strategy is viable like it was in the past. I think that you can find success with this. I think that you can win games. But if you're trying to actually like ladder or win over and over and over, or even win like a best of 3 or best of 5 match, this strategy isn't your best bet. Anyway, thanks a whole lot for watching. I really appreciate your continued support, and I hope to see you next time.